Hey guys, this is another session. I hope everyone is good. And today we are discussing Safaricom in Ethiopia, the expectation for Safaricom. Safaricom being the biggest telecommunication company in East and Central Africa, it has also plans for the future and how it wants to tap into the East Africa Central market, and its newest market is Ethiopia. And we're gonna look intensively at what's with Safaricom in Ethiopia. Thank you.
Yeah, so Safaricom has recently launched in Ethiopia, and they've invested around $1 billion in infrastructure and setting up the baseline for, or the foundation for telecommunications system within Ethiopia. So Safaricom has also hired around over 300 Ethiopians to be able to work in the company. So basically that shows that Ethiopia was a bit left behind in the telecommunications race, and Safaricom has taken over, has been given that contract by the Ethiopian government to come and expand within Ethiopia. And although they were supposed to finish this year, the whole setup, but they've been under a lot of pressure to finish the setup of the infrastructure. So I think when I think about it, Ethiopia has been a country that we never talk about, we never think about. It's not really in the media a lot. It's not online a lot. We don't hear about Ethiopia the same way we hear about Uganda and Tanzania and Rwanda, especially Rwanda. But I think Ethiopia has started to open its doors up. Sorry, Ethiopia started to open its doors out to foreign investment from within East Africa. And I think this is also even Safaricom is opening up a few data centers within Ethiopia, and that's probably fueled by the fact that Ethiopia recently has created a dam that is producing a lot of electricity that can be able to facilitate the growth of technology infrastructure, especially information technology. Maybe we'll start seeing internet penetration in Ethiopia the same way Africa internet has penetrated, especially within Nairobi in the recent years. And Ethiopia is now starting to, catch up to the rest of the African countries. Yeah.
So as a, like one thing I noticed about a country like Ethiopia is the fact that the reason why it has been so to catch up is because the fact that it wasn't colonized, it retained the same kind of system of governance throughout the years. And, Ethiopia has also had issues of coup d'etats, people overthrowing it. So it didn't settle as like a country like Kenya. It didn't settle. It always on very ambiguous. This guy is ruling another. The future, and it's another thing. It's a very, very religious country, so the society is very reserved. Actually, Ethiopia has one of the lowest internet penetration. Internet and mobile penetration, telecommunication in the world, like one of the lowest. So the population is 100 million, and it started discovering that it can't retain the same system of governance, not opening to the world, as now, even as people say English is a language of colonialism. We're in an age where almost everyone talks English, so they can't still retain the same system of speaking Amharic. They also have to start thinking internationally, because if you're speaking that language, let's say Amharic, it's good to be proud of your culture, but at the end of the day, reality that will limit you from being an international person. And also that also applies to the business. You can't just close everyone out and expect, you need people, outside people, to come and invest in your country. And you can see that because immediately Safaricom wanted to enter Ethiopia, they had to change their laws to allow Safaricom to do business in Ethiopia. You know, the first law they changed was to allow Safaricom to open a telecommunication they gave it a telecommunication license to conduct telecommunication. The only company that was providing telecommunication was the Ethiopian state-owned company, which had a monopoly. And you know, Safaricom was given the northern eastern side, the Oromio region. But when Safaricom wanted to conduct its M-Pesa services, there's also another law that prohibits foreign companies from opening mobile money services. So that also had to be changed. I think it's being changed in the process. And to give you a sneak peek of how Ethiopia was not open to, you know, it was a very enclosed economy with a lot of potential for growth. You know, Safaricom started in Kenya, I think in the late 2009, 10, if I'm not wrong, probably 2006 earlier. But in Ethiopia, their mobile money started in 2020, 2021. So it shows you that there's a big difference, big difference, because you can see how much M-Pesa has become a very transformational tool throughout the Kenyan economy. And Kenya now has 12 to 15 years experience in dealing with M-Pesa. So it's only right that they could have reconsidered just giving Safaricom the license, because not only Safaricom, it does not only just come there to compete the market, it also comes with this expertise, and it also brings competition and also encourages the growth of the telecommunication and internet sector in Ethiopia. We might remember that Ethiopia, it's 100 million. Safaricom aims to at least get a 25% market. 25%, that means 25 million by next year, probably latest by 2024. So it's a very, very promising market.
Yeah. And if you look at Ethiopia, the penetration of technology, you know, I haven't been to Ethiopia, but the things I've heard about Ethiopia is that they are actually very, very, you know, they're still, I don't say use the word backward, but they're not up to date with the current trends that we see in at least African countries, and especially its neighbor Kenya. And you find that even internet speeds in Ethiopia, they're so slow. Ethiopia doesn't have a lot of digital services, you know, not today, but the last time I heard of Ethiopia, doesn't have a lot of digital services. There's a huge population of unemployed people. Most people, they don't know much about internet or anything like that. I think even things like cell phones and laptops are not as affordable as they are in Kenya. And, you know, that also contributes to a low penetration of IT skills and things like, you know, IT services, which are done by individual Ethiopians. And I think Ethiopia, the fact that it's just started opening its doors, it's going to make more people want to be interested in going to Ethiopia and seeing what they can do. Because Ethiopia, as much as it's been behind in the technology race, it's going to come up very fast. And the fact that it has, you know, it's creating a dam that can sustain data centers and things like that. It's going to make Ethiopia really move fast in the next few years. Maybe in the next 10 years, we'll hear Ethiopia, it's a leading technology, you know, technology hub. We hear of Silicon Savannah in Kenya. Maybe Ethiopia is going to have its own silicon startup kind of culture, because Ethiopia, I think we also hear things like iHub in Kenya. Also, Ethiopia is also starting its own tech hubs to encourage the growth of startups and, you know, companies where people can come and solve everyday problems in the country. But Safaricom's move in Ethiopia, it's actually, I feel like it's also limited, but it's a very big move by Safaricom to move to Ethiopia, because that 100 million population, you know, you find that Ethiopia probably has a lower earning group amongst the citizens, whereby not everyone earns a lot of money, and Safaricom might enter the one unit. Maybe the currency is called beer. Yeah, the beer. They might enter that economy for one beer, or they might enter economy for the 10 beer. Transactions might be many because most people live in different areas in Ethiopia, and it's going to encourage an influx of buying cell phones, buying laptops, subscribing to bundles, subscribing to internet. So all the services that we use here in Kenya, they're going to be duplicated and replicated, and they're going to become used in Ethiopia. So in Ethiopia, you'll start hearing, Lipa na M-Pesa Ethiopia online. You'll start hearing e-commerce apps coming up in Ethiopia. People will start, trading, maybe buying and sending and receiving money across, Ethiopia and Kenya, because probably they're going to have that kind of service. And it's going to open up Ethiopia to a big technology race that's going to compete probably with the Kenyan technology race and probably Nigeria. Yeah.
So when you look at the population and the GDP, because it's 100 million population, and the GDP is 100 billion. It's almost with Kenya. It shows you the wealth distribution there is a bit. It's a bit less fairer than Kenya, but also that doesn't mean that the market doesn't have a lot of potential. Also, Ethiopia, the land size is also bigger than Kenya, so the population is also bigger than Kenya. And I also feel for Safaricom, this is also a new opportunity for it to, to come and understand the market landscape, and it being the second company that has been allowed, because it's competing with the government, it means that it's in a pioneering stage of, it's probably the first foreign company that has been allowed such a magnitude deal of a foreign company. Because I was seeing the money that Safaricom pumped into Ethiopia for the license was the largest foreign direct investment from an outside company into the Ethiopian market. So it shows you that Safaricom is already in the foundation state of cementing itself in the Ethiopian market. And also I feel like it will also create trade and investment between Kenya and Ethiopia, that people can transact through borders. You can send money to Ethiopia, and Ethiopian people can send through here. So it means goods and a lot of things will be working efficient. And just outside Safaricom a bit, I was seeing just to show how the Ethiopian market is, it's a bit active. I was seeing KQ, the Kenyan carrier, had made a loss of almost $300 million. And on the other side, the Ethiopian airline had made a profit of $500 million. So it shows you also, probably there's something that the Ethiopians have that we can learn from. It seems they have a different style of managing the things. And even if Safaricom is entering a place that has not been opened, probably there are certain advantages that it might find itself, having, that might make it to be a very successful company. Although Ethiopia, even though it's opening, it's not that open. It still needs time. It's more of like, you can't just, the open is gradual, slowly. It's slowly but sure, but it's afraid of opening immediately because you don't know what. It's hard to control what you're bringing in. Because I was seeing the CEO of the Safaricom Ethiopia was saying the constitution mandates it. If the government says internet or services should be cut, then they have to follow the rules. So it shows you that even though Ethiopia is opening, it's a different territory. The government still is in is in control of how things are done.
Yeah. The government is heavily involved in the economic part of Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And that creates
scares investors sometimes.
Yeah, it scares investors because you might go there, open up a business, and then it comes and it's shut down, and then you're left devastated after investing a significant amount of money. But I think when Safaricom penetrates and they start their services, I think people are going to start looking at people are going to start to look at what Safaricom is doing, and they're going to be curious and try and go and see for themselves if they can open up businesses, because I think even getting licenses and things like that are still heavily regulated
And
by
you know, it's
the
a
Ethiopian
big risk, because
government.
I was seeing the license, they have to pay for 2 licenses. The first one was $1 billion. I don't know if the second one they're gonna pay, but the license is only valid for 15 years. So for 15 years, you have to make sure you've returned.
You have to make sure you've returned.
Yeah.
And if you think about the return on investment, you find that unless people are eagerly waiting for Safaricom to come and provide them with M-Pesa and services like that, it took Safaricom. Safaricom invested less money in Kenya to start M-Pesa and start infrastructure.
Yeah.
But you find that it took Safaricom, 10 years for M-Pesa to become normal.
Sufficient.
Sufficient and normal for everyone to be, even nowadays people are paid with M-Pesa, people pay everything with M-Pesa, even cash, having cash is not such a common thing nowadays. If you have M-Pesa, I don't have to walk up to someone and give them any money. I don't have to, if I want cash, there are many kiosks which have M-Pesa,
Do you
M-Pesa or
feel
M-Pesa agents.
Do you feel there could be a risk if Safaricom becomes too big? The government might demand to buy shares. The Ethiopian government
I think
in the Ethiopian
it's
Safaricom.
definitely going to happen.
No, not in the
It's
Kenyan
definitely
Safaricom.
going
I'm
to
saying
happen.
like
Yeah,
yeah.
Safaricom Ethiopia, it's definitely going to happen, because the government is going to see a very big money-making machine, and they're going to want part of it.
So they might
And,
use the
after the
Ethiopian
technology transfer
telecommunication to
that's
buy
going to happen,
shares.
yeah, after the technology transfer that's going to happen, the government is going to know what Safaricom does. It's not a secret that transacting with M-Pesa, it's simply, having 2 bank accounts where
They're linked together.
someone can deposit. Yeah, it's just, M-Pesa is just a very big bank bank account that is just one bank account that allows people to transact within that bank account, to exchange money through messages. And you find that the amount of technicality of managing such a big account that is probably has tens of billions of shillings, and that money is being transacted from millions and millions of Kenyans. That sort of system, Ethiopia is going to, get the hang of it and create its own system and push out Safaricom, because that's a different ecosystem. But I don't know what kind of relationship they have together with the Ethiopian government. But we'll wait to see to find out if Safaricom is going to operate after that 15 years, or
if it's
the
gonna
Ethiopian
quit.
government is
Yeah.
going to come and take over.
And
Because as much as Safaricom is African, it's still foreign to Ethiopia.
To Ethiopia,
because even
true.
as an Ethiopian, they want their own things. They want to have their own
because there's
telecommunications,
still
their
that
own
nationalistic mindset
M-Pesa.
also.
Yeah, because you don't want to call M-Pesa M-Pesa is Swahili. You don't use M-Pesa in an Amharic speaking country. You don't call it something else.
And also this, if Safaricom succeeds in this market, this also put Ethiopia as a candidate to join the East African community, because if it's opening up, Ethiopia will start realizing that it also needs to enter in this market, and entering the East African community is not about companies from East Africa going to Ethiopia. Also, Ethiopia is going to see that also their companies can come and benefit from from this larger market, because why not even the Ethiopian, the Ethiopian telecommunication company also comes and opens a branch in Kenya? Why does it has to be Safaricom? It shouldn't be looked at like a one-sided thing. It should be looked, even though also it's not just there's opportunity for Kenya or Safaricom in Ethiopia. Even for Ethiopians, there's opportunity in this market. They can come and do business and and do trade. And that's why I feel like when you push it's a one-sided thing, it kind of bring the nationalistic mentality of why are these people coming here? Why, but it shouldn't be like that. It should be like even that. You guys can come here and and do business, because like you see a country like Ethiopia, it's one of the largest producers of livestock in Africa.
Mm.
So they are very good
Mm.
in meat production. And so, you know, you can come here like Dagoretti and see how the slaughterhouse is, and improve it, and or provide expertise. So it means, you know, they have one of the best leather industries in Africa. Their shoes, their jackets, or they're one of the best. They can come also. There's market here for, because here a lot of people, Kenyans, especially things to do with leather, people prefer importing. So if Ethiopia has that industry, they can come and open it over here. But I feel like Safaricom now entering Ethiopia is solidifying itself as the largest and most powerful telecommunication company in East and Central Africa. And it's heading to be a company that it's gonna dominate. It's gonna dominate, especially in the telecommunication. I just hope that Safaricom has a should transition now into being a real technology company. That's what I'm hoping it will. I don't know if you can take it from there. From how you are seeing.
You know,
Yeah.
speaking about Safaricom being a technology company,
Mm-hmm.
it hasn't had, you know, most technology companies, they acquire smaller upcoming companies. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you find that a company like Facebook, you know, Safaricom is a $7 billion company. So
Mm-hmm.
a company like Facebook acquires so many subsidiaries. Facebook has acquired the top acquisitions of Facebook are Instagram, WhatsApp, Oculus Rift. You find that Google acquired things like Android, Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, but Google Maps. It acquired things like artificial intelligence companies. It acquires, you know, it keeps on promoting. You know, American companies, they keep on promoting, you know, small startups, and, you know, they give them money to do research and development, which I see Safaricom does not do a lot. Safaricom is very closed. You can't go to Safaricom and, you know, you don't hear Safaricom acquiring Kenyan companies that deal with technology. And if you do, it's very, very rare to hear Safaricom is acquiring this company. But if you look at the American side, you find that, you know, these companies like Twitch, Twitch is a game, is a streaming site for video gamers mostly, and it was acquired by Amazon for $1 billion. The acquisitions in America are so big, which promotes this whole ecosystem of constantly building new technology, constantly competing. You know, these companies, you know, you might think Amazon is just one company, but Amazon probably has 1,000 companies under it, same as Facebook, same as Google, same as Microsoft, same as, I don't know about Apple, but same as Apple, you know.
Apple the same.
Even
Dre,
Tesla,
you know, like just
it's by Dre.
Yeah.
You don't hear, you know, you don't hear Safaricom acquiring Kenyan companies or Kenyan startups. It's very, very rare. And even to get funding from Safaricom, from your own startup, it's actually very difficult. So in Kenya, that's why you're going to talk about this tomorrow. You know, most Kenyans usually go for American funding and American, not American, but foreign. They go for foreign investors because they're more willing to give money to their startups more than, you know, a company like Safaricom. Recently, Safaricom did a technology, I don't know, it was like an expo or this, you know, and they are promoting Amazon Web Services. You know, now that just shows that Safaricom, to me, you know, even me as someone who's in that field,
it doesn't
speak to me. It doesn't speak to me like Safaricom really wants anything to do with the Kenyan environment. It wants to do more of, you know, being a middleman, or, you know, buying equipment
and making
and
as much money
up,
out of it as possible.
Yeah, and making as much money as being a middleman as possible, instead of giving money to people who can build the same technology.
And you know, and you know, even speaking about that, I was even asking why are they? I understand Huawei is a big technology company on the dealing with internet, but you know, Safaricom should make sure that, you know, we use even their product somehow. You know, they can't be just importing things and then reselling.
Buying, and then reselling.
It should have a vision
of promoting Kenyan talent.
And I want to link it with the company like KPLC. You see, Kenya, a company, and I think we should do something about also KPLC. We should analyze its structure.
We should analyze its structure.
Because by now I feel like KPLC, people shouldn't even be buying solar panels. I know they've started that program, but people shouldn't be buying solar panels from other companies. KPLC should be manufacturing its own solar panel, its own generators. its own lamps, its own bulb. It should now be transitioned not just to provide electricity to you. It should be manufacturing the whole electricity, power system. If I want a generator, it's a KPLC. If I want a lamp is
it's like General Electric for the American General Electric.
Even
it
car
produces its own
batteries,
generators and everything.
even car batteries should be KPLC. So it shouldn't just
but
it has
I
formed so
think
much
if you
on
look
the
at
it has formed so much on the monopoly swimming pool. I'm the only person, so I'm so comfortable.
I'm
Like
gonna do what I want.
even apart from doing what I want, there's no competition. So as long as I'm making a turnover, let's say of 100 billion Kenya shillings a year, from just 30 from charging people tokens, I don't think outside the box. And especially right now, KPLC is struggling so much to make money. It should be again, because one thing again, we shouldn't even be. I have no issue with the Ethiopian, but KPLC should already be sufficient to provide power to. We shouldn't be importing power. We should. It should be so sufficient that I should equate KPLC to a very, like the way you're saying, general electric. It should take over the entire electricity ecosystem.
Yeah, but you have to understand, if you look at the American companies, they invest heavily and a lot more than anything in talent. They invest heavily in the smart people. They give smart people very big opportunities to build and create technology that people have never seen before. And the sad thing is we have the same talent in Kenya, but no one, everyone is ignoring the small talent. That's why I'm saying, literally, these companies like KPLC and Safaricom have completely ignored the small scale talent that people have. You can't expect someone who's starting out to manufacture something like an iPhone, but you can give that person some money to be able to buy equipment, buy machines, and buy things like milling machines and soldering machines to be able to produce chips and to be able to produce microprocessors and things like that. Because if you look at in the Kenyan market, that kind of talent is heavily ignored. It's heavily ignored to the point that it's not even worth it to go and start building things like routers for Wi-Fi and things like hard disks and computers, because no one is going to invest in you, because everyone is buying abroad. Everyone is buying, computers and microprocessors from abroad. But Kenya, the talent is there, but the support is completely destroyed. If you look at something like Oculus Rift and Magic Leap and HoloLens, those are companies that had technology that never existed. But because they're given money to refine and fine-tune the technology itself, they're able to expand and create something they've never seen before. And as long as Kenyan talent is in technology is being neglected, people will constantly go abroad to contribute in an American company rather than to contribute in a local Kenyan company because of the ignorance by this big company.
Because even the big companies locally are going abroad to look for things to come and also, so
to come and sell.
So it's the same mindset, So if Safaricom is getting everything from abroad and coming and giving to you, it means the same kind of mindset.
It means if you can manufacture a phone in Nairobi or in Kenya, no one is going to pay attention because Safaricom is already selling something that's already been manufactured and ready to sell. And that's what if you look at the American market, they usually refuse so much to use something that's not American or something that's not done by America. Even in China, you might find, even in Europe, German cars are driven by Germans. Rolls Royce is from UK. It's the pride of the cars in UK. It's the best car in UK. You find that something like Tesla, it's completely American, the most advanced electric car that's that's very recent. And that's the kind of culture that here people are trying to push for it, but the support from local companies is not there. But the culture is there for startups, but the money is from America or Europe or Asia.
From abroad.
Yeah, and that's something that's not going to change anytime soon.
Because
as long as Safaricom is making 100, 200 billion shillings a year, and that all that money is just going back to the shareholders or It's going back to the people who have the most shares, and they're not reinvesting in startups because they're very innovative startups out there. But the fact that no one is investing in startups and locally, it's gonna mean that all the money is always going to come from abroad, and that's not going to change.
Okay.
So if you look at Ethiopia, the same thing is going to happen. It's going to be people are going to start investing in Ethiopia from abroad because probably the government, if the government is such a monopoly, it might ignore. Because if us, we're Africa and we're in the lead, maybe Ethiopia might also ignore their own.
And you know, Ethiopia also has a lot of it has a lot of their citizens abroad, so probably they are the ones who are coming back and also
and starting up.
Starting up all those businesses. Probably they are the ones who are coming with the expertise, intelligent. Because you look a country like Canada, America, they are a lot over there, and and the ones who live there, they've climbed up the social ladder. You know, they are very successful people there. So they also, you find that also that ecosystem. Because I was there's a story I was when I was in campus, I was seeing that Boeing wanted to open a headquarters between Ethiopia and Kenya, and the reason why they couldn't settle on Ethiopia was because there was less expertise. So also that shows you, you know, there's a lot of work needed to be done there. But I feel like also the fact that they're opening, that's one of the biggest steps into their economy just booming.
I think
we are done.
You're done. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
So guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you want more content, you can comment down below. We'll produce content every day, and keep tuning in. We'll come up with we'll come up with more information about the social economic background of Africa and the world in general, and we'll look at how the economy of the world is playing out between countries and between continents.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Bye. Until next time.
Okay. Till next time.